Hey, everybody, welcome back. It is time to market like a nerd. And today we are going to crack the code about messaging on your ads. And that's coming up next. Wow, I am ready. That always gets me going. All right, everybody,
Yeah,
welcome
that's a good
back.
video.
I know, right? That's an awesome video. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for watching us live. Thank you for watching the recording as well. As always, we'll be here until further notice every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, all about marketing because we're such nerds about marketing. And today, I have one of our Facebook ad experts. It is Carrie, the lovely Carrie. Thank you for showing up today, Carrie.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Eddie.
I know this is so exciting. And when Carrie said, "Hey, I got something to crack that code about messaging on Facebook ads," I thought, what the heck is that all about? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And yeah, you just tell us a little bit about that because actually I don't know much about that part, that piece, messaging on ads. What is that all about?
Yeah, so why I wanted to talk about it is because I'm actually very passionate about it when it comes to talking about this on ads because I find that like messaging is probably one of the most important things that you can do on your Facebook ads, like really like having like dialing down the copy and the messaging on the ads because like what we've seen in a lot of our accounts is that like once we've really like worked on like testing and really like dialing that down, you really start to see like the metrics improve in so many ways once you have that messaging down. And I don't think it's a shame because I don't think it's a topic that people talk about first when it comes to Facebook ads. It's like we talk about strategies and we talk about like yeah, just like a lot of strategies and like tactics to like
Mhm.
to do better on your Facebook ads. And then a lot of the times it's actually comes down to like, well, what does your copy look like? You know, is your copy resonating with your audience or the image, right? Is that image like, does that look really, really good? So I think it's something that gets passed over a lot, which is
Mhm.
why I
Mhm.
really like to talk about this topic and
Yeah.
make it a priority in a lot of our clients' accounts
Yeah.
and when we chat with them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's so what you said is so true. We tend to focus because that's the whole thing, right? Facebook ads, lead generation, and we tend to focus on the tactics on how do I get the most for my money or how do I get more impressions, right? and
Mhm.
and people then when they start doing this, those who are taking care of their own Facebook ads, they start to feel frustrated, they start to feel
Mhm.
overwhelmed because they're thinking, wait a minute, I heard, I thought it was just me putting ads and click through rates and percentages and all this stuff. Why is it not working for me? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly
well,
that.
well, that's why, right? Because it's the messaging, it's that copy. So, all right. So if we're going to cover that, then I think it's best to understand again, is there a way to do the right messaging on ads? You know, like what would you put or what would someone do to make their copy better?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So the thing that first comes to my mind is just really knowing your audience, right? So like it's So yeah, like whenever I start to talk to clients about their messaging, like I want to dig a little bit deeper with them.
Mhm.
So the copywriter on our team and I, we like dig a little bit deeper with our clients so that we
Mhm.
can really like understand who their audience is and like what ticks them. So what like speaking exactly to them, like what are some of the things that your client like struggles with in at night, like
Mhm.
before they go to sleep, like what are some of the things that they're like frustrated about and they're like anxious about and they're like thinking about, like that is like all consuming, right? And then
Yeah.
like really writing to that, it doesn't sometimes have to be so fancy. It could, like, where I think the copy does the best is when like if someone says like a really good piece of ad, like a really good
Mhm.
ad is when someone is able to say, hey, like that is me, like that
Yeah.
resonates with me so much. You
Yes.
are literally like inside of my head. How is that?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
for me, it's where I resonate the most with on like any kind of products that I buy is like, oh my gosh, how did she know that about me? It's like,
Yes.
so
I
it's,
get it. Yeah.
yeah, so it's really like doing the work to like understand not just who your audience is, but like what are their challenges and what's like keeping them up in the evening, like what's keeping
Yeah.
them up in the night time.
Yeah, and you touch such a key subject or topic in regards to language, right?
Mhm.
It's understanding your audience language and knowing, like you describe it, what is it that is worried to them, is keeping them up late at night, or they're always frustrated about certain something, and how do they express themselves so that when they see the copy that's how they feel. Because I've done the same thing too, Carrie. I sometimes have read some copy or maybe even a quick little image, and I would totally agree with it, or I feel like, wow, yeah, I'm not alone, right?
Mhm.
So
Totally.
it's really crucial to know your audience. But all right, so if that's the case, and if you're going to speak their language, you know, again, how would you then tell someone, right, who who is struggling with their ads and maybe not understanding so much about this copy or messaging in your ads? What's one or two things that they can start with so that they can improve their ads?
Yeah. So I think like my tactics, like when I think about it, are just like I always try and go back to like simplicity, right?
Mm,
So I think the simplest way to do it is to like literally like go and talk to like your audience. Like go and if you're just starting out, like then go and talk to the people who you think are going to be your audience, right?
mm,
Like
mhm.
are they people in your network, friends, family, like where are they? So just like go out into the world and like start to talk to these people and like ask them questions like what are the things that you're struggling with, right?
Yes.
um if you're already like established in the business, like talk to your clients right now and say like what are some of the things that you're currently struggling with, like what do you need more help in,
Yeah.
and you can do that by just getting on the phone with them. You could do that by surveys, but just like collecting like a whole bunch of data, and like from that experience, I think that you're going to come out with so many more insights than you could have ever thought on your own, because these people are giving you that info, they're giving you that
Yes.
information, and then they're also giving you the language that they're speaking as well. So like
That is key. That is key, Carrie. Listen up. If you guys are watching right now or watching the recording, that what she just said is key. And I'm going to repeat that for you all because a lot of you missed this. You have your clients already. Like Carrie's saying, go talk to them, go service them, go listen to them, ask them the questions, and then use what they're telling you language wise, right? exactly what they're saying, that's your copy, right, Carrie?
Yep, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's like
It's
awesome.
Yeah, it's really just like that easy, like not I mean it's not easy, right? But like it's can be that simple where you start with that place and then, if you have a copywriter on the team and you want someone to like to pass it along, you could pass it along, but you could like create the copy first and then just like have someone look it over and like tweak it and edit it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but
Yep.
yeah, but to make it jazz up a little bit, but like it's a really good starting ground where you could just like speak their language. That's what
That is
resonates
so
as
cool.
well. Mhm.
Yeah, one of the things that some of my mentorships and some of you and your team, what you guys love to do is you like to talk and listen and discuss things with clients. I know that you have like a weekly meeting with clients, right, or something like that.
A monthly meeting, yeah.
Monthly meeting, right? So when you're talking with them and you obviously can hear and listen what they're going through, or sometimes what their clients or what their members and audience is going through. So yeah, it's so important. It's so, I think you just it comes down to knowing your audience all the time. Jody and I continually go back to that. But I love what you just said, the language part. All right, but okay,
Yeah.
so going back to the beginning though, you did mention
And I've
something
always been
that,
an advocate for this too. Like in
oh, have you?
every, yeah, I mean, in like every kind of marketing role that I've been in, I've always come back to this point where it's like, let's go out and talk to, let's go out and talk to our clients and like,
Yeah.
let's get info in that way. I've
Yeah.
always been an advocate for that way of marketing.
It's relationship, right? It's understanding one another, communication, relationship, and really honestly, that's how you serve one another, is
Mhm.
really talking about it and understanding. But you did mention something at the beginning. You said image. I heard you say image, right? So that's the
Mhm.
creative part, I guess. If I'm not quite sure about that, but it's the image part. So tell me about that though, because see, that's a tricky one for me. Like even for myself, I'm thinking, okay, so what do you mean? Like, how do I fix that? Right? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like how do you fix it? I mean, it comes down to again like what is going to be attention grabbing and like what
Mhm.
is going to resonate with your audience, Again,
Right.
coming back down to it. So like
Yeah.
for instance, if you are you know, in the like pregnancy niche, right?
Mhm.
Niche,
Mhm.
let's just say
Mhm.
a lot of those moms are like all consumed with thinking about kids. So like it would
Yeah.
probably be wise of you to put an image of like someone with a kid on it, like something with a kid on it, right? So
Sure.
like getting into your audience's brain again, like what is going to be clickable for them? Like what
Mhm.
do they want to see in their newsfeed? Something right now that I think is doing really well in like the newsfeed is organic images. So just like really, so like ease like selfie photos, just like natural photos of people being in like their natural environment because it kind of just it like blends into what's actually happening on the news feed. So people aren't like maybe seeing it as this is my hypothesis about it is that they're not seeing it as like a sponsored post like this like
Mm.
guru that's showing up on the news
Sure.
feed. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, this like everyday person who's
Yes.
speaking to me in this language. And now I feel like they're my buddy and I want to learn more about it rather than, oh, they're just trying to like sell me something. So,
That's interesting because, of course, there's some people who sometimes don't want to be the face of their company, right? And they won't show up doing a selfie, or they'll prepare, like they almost have a photo shoot, you know. So what you're saying is that selfies and being real, it's very good to do.
yeah, I think I think it can be really good. I mean, everything is about testing, so it
Sure.
just really depends on what what your audience shows you by the data that comes
Yeah.
back to you. But I think that testing selfies is or like just natural photos is definitely like one thing to always test out.
And I've seen some photos of very professional photos. Like you can tell they're from the stock places, right?
Mhm.
Um, but then sometimes I've seen the real person promoting their services or product, and it's almost like they're hyping it up too much, right?
Mm.
So, like, is there a balance? Like how much? And I know you're gonna say it's all about your audience, but based on what you've seen, like, how much is too much? On that image.
On the image, yeah.
Yes.
How much is too much?
and I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen the I'll give you an example. So
Mhm.
there's this mentor out there. I'm not going to name names, but there is this successful individual entrepreneur who is always something has to do with money stuff. Okay,
Mm,
and so I've seen the jet plane in the background. I've
mm,
seen the limousine, or the amazing car, right? And sometimes the way they dress, like their bling bling,
mhm.
women are like all bling bling all over the place, and so it is that can that also like trigger the alarm for someone looking at that and say, this is like not for me, even though they're kind of in that realm, right? Like they're looking that audience is looking for answers for their problems, but they see an image like that. Is that like not a good thing to do?
Yeah. So, I would probably come back to audience again
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because like we just might not be his target audience, and that like repulses us, right? So like what you do will probably repulse a certain demographic, and it'll probably attract certain demographics. So like maybe
Yeah,
his
true.
demographic is that's what resonates with them. That's like what is attention grabbing because they are so like focused on that kind of lifestyle and that kind of money and that kind of bling. And that's like their values and what they're looking for in a mentor.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah,
that
that's true.
that might resonate with them.
Sure.
I think it also when that with those kind of images, I believe that the reason that they do it is for credibility, right? It's like,
Oh, okay.
oh,
Yeah.
I've created it's like this sense of credibility, right? It's kind of like putting an award on, on the background, like, oh, I've gotten this like amazing reward because it gives a sense of credibility. Like, hey, I created this kind of lifestyle. And if you want to have this too, then I'm showing you that I have it. And I'll
Ah.
teach you how to have it. So probably his demographic is looking for that kind of lifestyle. And that's
Mhm.
what is going to resonate with them rather than, we might not be in his target demographic and that might not be necessarily the first thing that we care about, so we might not resonate with those kind of values. That would kind of be my take on it.
Yeah, that's really good. See, peeps, it comes down to knowing your audience. Come
Mhm.
on, get to work, get to work. Hey, I got one question, and before we kind of wrap up here, because I just thought of this.
Mhm.
What about text on images? Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's worth testing.
Okay.
So I think it's worth testing text on images, and I think it's worth testing no text on images, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
just seeing how it does in Facebook ads, and then
Hmm.
seeing if it works, if it's getting good metrics. If not, then at least you tested it, and then you can move on.
Holy snap.
Mm.
Y'all, listen, I'm gonna give you the insider scoop here on this. You got to test. You have to
Yep.
have data to test, and you got to know your audience. You got to know their language. That's crucial to your Facebook ads messaging, so that you can actually, it's not a guarantee, Carrie, right? This is not a guarantee, right? They're not going to get thousands of people clicking through, but it's all about testing, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's all about testing. Never a guarantee in the Facebook ad space.
There you go. And
So
that's very crucial. You got to test. And one last thing, and that's it for sure, for sure. I just talked about I just said test.
one last, but last.
But one last, but last. How much testing? Like seriously, how much testing is there?
I think it's always going to be a kind of like you're always going to be testing, right? I just think just as marketers, like that's the process of just like you're always going to be testing, but and then you will get to a point where you're like, oh well, this is doing really good, this ad, so I don't need to necessarily like keep optimizing it. It looks good in my metrics. Let's now go and scale. So once your data, I think the simple answer is like once the data is reaching your metrics and it's reaching your goals, then you can just scale it, you know?
Yeah, very good. It's all about the numbers for sure. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Carrie, thank you. Thank you for showing. Thank you for your insight, your expertise, and I appreciate you. You do an amazing job. The team does an amazing job. So, for those of you who are watching and you want to know more about how your messaging is and how can it be improved, just book a call. Book a call with us. Marketlikeanerd.com/book a call. You'll be able to talk to us and let's see what you're doing. Let's see what you're thinking about changing or improving, and how we can help you best. Any final words, Carrie?
No, just listen to Eddie and keep testing and keep knowing your audience. And and thanks for bringing me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, fabulous.
Thank
you so fabulous. Those are some good stuff that you're giving us, and I appreciate your time as well. All right, everybody. So again, come back next week, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific. Again, till further notice, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we will be back with good stuff to keep being nerds in the marketing arena. Until then, have a good one, everybody. Thank you, Carrie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.